Pokes Radio's at Media Day here in Laramie on this gorgeous afternoon, a hot afternoon at War Memorial Stadium. I'm joined now by Wyoming defensive coordinator Steve Stanard. And Coach, thanks for joining us. And before we get going, you and I were both looking at the biggest board in the West, Coach.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a mother-sized board, and it's pretty damn impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, we're really fortunate. And another thing, too, is might block some of the wind. Our receiver coach pointed that out.
And then when we get the High Altitude Performance Center behind us,
there you go. It's
might
like
change the dynamics entirely.
Yeah, but we're real excited about that. You know, and Coach Bull, like he says, we look at the old scoreboard, we look at the new scoreboard, and it shows you where we're going from here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. How you feeling? Third year in with this program. First 2 years, you know, I've told people whenever I've spoken about the Pokes and written about the Pokes on my website, really foundation years is what I considered them. You guys are laying a foundation for sustained growth. You're building now. Things appear to be taking shape now. The clay is starting to be molded a little bit is the way I put it. But from a defensive standpoint, I think the defense, I think it's fair to say, is behind the offensive side of the football now. But maybe you guys will surprise a little bit this year as you look at things objectively going into the season right now and coming off of the first practice earlier today. How do you feel about your defensive squad?
Well, I think the guys really applied themselves well. Right after the season, they really put together a really solid winter. And they applied themselves in the weight room and in the meeting rooms, and it carried over into spring football. We're gaining more and more speed and athleticism on defense. And, you know, we had a lot of younger players, really our first recruiting class, and a lot of those guys played last year, and now a lot of them are experienced sophomores. And they're learning to understand the concepts of what we want to do. They understand the expectations. And when you start adding guys like Carl Granderson, Kevin Prosser, Andrew Wingard, DJ May, you start adding more and more speed, and so then you have the ability that, hey, you know what, sometimes everything isn't going to be an exact fit. Guys going to punch through the line of scrimmage, but we have more and more speed on the field to run them down and give us a chance to line up again.
You mentioned Andrew Wingard, and it really kind of came out of nowhere last year, exceeded, I think, all expectations, and we're eagerly awaiting to see what he can do for an encore this season. But as you look at your defense right now, and speaking of coming out of nowhere, give me a few names to watch that could emerge this year that maybe are flying under the radar a little bit right now.
Well, you know, I think the big thing right now is last year we had a lot of freshmen that ended up being in a starting role as true freshmen.
Yeah.
This year our hopes is that some of the true freshmen will be backups or role players where we don't have to have true freshmen starting like we did last year. But, you know, you start looking at guys, we have two very athletic ends in Carl Granderson and Kevin Prosser.
Sure.
Another young man, Chase Appleby, you know, we're going to continue to try to put him in the best position. He's an undersized nose guard, but he's extremely quick. Johanna, our 3 technique, you know, he's going to be a continual work in progress. He redshirted, but, you know, he's another young man that's put on 50 pounds since he's arrived here, and so hopefully that carries over onto the field. Our whole secondary were freshmen. You know, and so now we're looking at some guys that have a lot of games under their belt. You know, we have a junior college transfer, Rico, that we have high expectations for. I think DJ May and Lucas Waka. Lucas is a young man that's really taken on a leadership role within our defense, and here's a young man, DJ May, who can really run. He's extremely fast, and he's starting to want to be a linebacker, not a running back who got moved to linebacker and nickel. So those are some of the guys that, you know, we're excited. Logan Wilson, you know, a Wyoming young man that played corner in high school. He's playing well linebacker, but man, does he have some skills that we're excited about, especially for the league that we are in, where linebackers got to be really athletic guys, and they got to be able to do a lot of things, cover wide receivers and play the run game against the San Diego States and the Colorado States. When
Coach Bull met with the media upstairs before we came down here on the field, he mentioned the growth of the aforementioned Carl Granderson. 6'6", 205 last year, about 6'6", 243, 245 in that range this year. What do you see from him in maturation level in terms of also picking up the defense second year in? And is that weight going to prohibit him from being as quick with that burst off the edge that we saw last year?
Well, I think anytime a young man puts on that much weight, there is an acclimation period of getting used to carrying that weight. And our hopes is that he has not lost a step. We did not see anything today that would say he has,
Yeah.
but still he's carrying a lot more weight.
Sure.
Now he's going to carry a lot more punch too. He's going to be a lot more explosive. He's going to be a long guy that's 240. It's going to be more of a challenge to block. Where last year he really relied on his athleticism and quickness and slipped some blocks. But I think he's going to be able to slip blocks and use his great first step. But he's going to pack a little more punch when a tight end comes off to block him.
One of the things that I've wondered, and one of the things I've written about on the website, Coach, is when you have the inexperience and the youth on the defense that you have, if you stay back in that Tampa 2 exclusively, it's my feeling that it might prohibit you a little bit. One of the things this year, I think, is you want to force more turnovers, take away the ball more. Can we look for you to be a little bit more unpredictable this year? Blitz packages maybe a little bit more this year than what you showed last year?
Yeah, last year we had to make a conscious decision because of the youth. You can only put so much on a young player's plate, otherwise they're going to play extremely slow.
Right.
So, we were very, very basic last year. And our hopes are that we continue to expand the defensive package to the point where we can be doing some more things coverage-wise and blitz-wise and some of those things. But that's going to depend on how things go through fall camp. And then, as we can continue to develop these guys, if they can handle more, then we'll run more. Because on our side of the ball, it's we have to have answers for everything. And we wanted to make sure that those kids last year, because their youth and experience, felt confident, and we're trying to get them to play as fast as we could.
You got a couple of JC transfers that have the opportunity to help you big time this year.
Yeah, we felt like it. Defensive end, we went and got Nella, and then on the defensive end, and then Hunter, interior defensive line, and then Rico. And so, we're not guys who are going to go out and sign 10 JUCOs every year.
Right.
But if we feel like there's a place that they can give us some depth and make us better, then we're gonna pursue those guys. So we certainly are hopeful and need Rico to come on at the corner position, and hopefully Nella and Hunter can continue to develop and give us some depth in that interior and defensive end spot.
Coach, can't thank you enough for your time here on Media Day. Best of luck this season.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Pokes.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Pokes Radio with defensive coordinator Steve Stanard.